Hey peeps, this is Hizu. Welcome back to another developer update review by me. This time sponsored by the seagulls outside and my systemic lack of a computer by the time behavior actually releases a developer update. So we're going to be covering things as per usual, though in a different setup. So sorry for any audio or visual issues. Can't do anything about them right now. So the September 2024 developer update has released, and well, actually, it's not that bad. There are, of course, some major stinkers, but, I expected far worse from this update, and, they delivered on this being a mostly positive update. So, first up, the Finishing Mori, a major update, and different implementation of the Finishing Mori system they've teased, oh my god, over a year ago now. And I was very worried, because it seemed like they didn't change the system at all, and it would be a massive problem for the game. Luckily, it seems they've scaled it back substantially because they realized they just don't have the resources to figure out how to make a system that big and that impactful and make that a nice whole of the match. So the Finishing Mori system is now kind of what we expected it back when it was announced on the year 7 anniversary of Dead by Daylight. The killer can just now perform Mori on the final survivor without using any offerings. They've also added that objects obstructing the camera during the Mori animation will now fade away, so no longer can you renovate walls and tables as killer while trying to Mori someone. So, 50-50 nerf and buff to the Mori system. Unfortunately, Mori offerings are now retired, and unfortunately, because I guess now we'll see less Moris maybe in the public patch, unless the killer is already the winning. But on the other hand, it also will reduce the, I'm gonna bring a Ebony Mori, because that way I can tunnel the survivor of the second hook and then Mori them, because they're death hook and now I can ignore DS and things like that. Although that's not as prevalent now still, because DS got nerfed back to 4 seconds. I suppose that's a decent thing. They say it will be a large blood point bonus when performing a Mori on the final survivor, so I just turned on the lights here. And they say that the system was previously tested, and many found it and the surrounding gameplay changes have too large of an effect on the match, and that it also sucked in the effect it gave for the match. They also say this change would make Memento Mori offerings obsolete. I don't think so. Like the Cypress Memento offering, most definitively yes, obsolete. But the green and the iridescent one, I don't see why those would be obsolete. But they have changed them nonetheless. So I suppose those would be mostly neutral effect in the game. And I think it will be a more satisfying conclusion to a match at the end of it. So that seems nice, I suppose, and definitely addressed a lot of the concerns I had with the original system. I'm not sure how I feel about the Memento Mori offerings still, because unless the bonus you'll have is tremendous, and it's not in the sacrifice category, but it's actually just bonus blood points, I don't see why anyone would run them over survivor boarding still, but hey. There are a lot of procs updates in this chapter, so we're gonna slowly rapid fire through them, which is a bit counterintuitive, but hey. So Teamwork Power of 2 got a medium update, as stated by the devs. There's a new effect that is given to all the 2.5 teamwork procs we have right now, which is Power of 2. So there's a lingering effect now. When you're out of range, for a few seconds, you will have a grace period, so you can re-enter the range of perks effects. So despite the fact that you left the range, you can still, oh shit, I left the range, go back, and the perk will not deactivate immediately, which is really nice, and kind of, I wish like Blood Pact had that, but now that they introduced this concept, because I've never really thought about it too much, but that is actually like a really nice quality of life, because if you do one small micro step away in the wrong direction, then you lose it immediately, and it's such a hassle, you need to set it up all again. So, that sucks, and that's a really cool new effect. So we've also increased the range from 12 meters to 16, and they've removed the cooldown entirely, and they've also removed the deactivation condition for whenever the survivor loses a health state. I actually, because this perk is so garbage and I've literally never used it almost, I didn't know it deactivated and like all the teamwork perks deactivated when Survivor recently lost the health state. That's so fucking dumb. But if, hey, I guess that's also contributing to why it never got used. So now there is no cooldown. There is a linger effect, so you can correct for your mess up of the range of the effect. There's a higher range now, and there is no longer a 40-minute cooldown on it. In fact, there's no cooldown at all. The same treatment got given to Collective Stealth, like literally the exact same changes. So both of these teamwork perks will now probably see a lot more use, because these perks are not terrible, and you know, especially in some duo setup, I can see them getting some use now, especially that linger effect. That'll make it so much more forgiving and just make the perks so much more fluid to use, both for Collective Stealth and Power of 2. Next up, speaking of Corrective Action, is Corrective Action. So Corrective Action got a minor update, as I say, but I think it's more of a major one, really. It will now apply to survivors within 8 meters of you. It previously was if you cooperate on the same action. And failed skill checks will now become great skill checks instead. So, as I say, Corrective Action previously on Prevent Pros lost from our survivors missed skill checks. This could be great when playing with a new friend, but completely useless for more experienced players. And they now change it to great skill checks, so now you even have a bonus. So you might be actually wanting your teammates to miss some skill checks, and you no longer have to be actively cooperating with them. Will this make the perk good? No, but it now might have a little bit of value. Like, imagine you're running Bardic Inspiration, and you're also running Corrective Action. And then your teammate duo has Hyper Focus, because they just missed a skill check. No, it's fine, guys. So we still have Corrective Action that still counts as a great skill check, and Bardic and Hyper Focus are all getting used. So I think some setups it might get a little bit of use now, but I don't think people will really care for this perk outside of the Adept still. Inner Focus, highest teachable perk, got a little bit of a buff. It now has a 10-second reading duration instead of 5 seconds. And it no longer requires to be within 32 minutes of a survivor who is in health state to see where the killer is. So, as I say, if you are within 32 minutes of a survivor who loses health state, you probably already know where the killer is. So now they remove this condition, and this will actually be, I suppose, a neat solo queue perk. In Swift, I still don't see this being useful at all, because your teammate will still be able to come, hey, the killer's over there, they just hit me. And even then, if you are in solo queue, you still kind of have a general sense of where the chase is going usually, with the chase indicators especially. So, a nice buff, but I don't think Inner Focus will still get any use at all, let's be honest. Next up is We Are Gonna Live Forever. So, We're Gonna Live Forever, go to rework in 610, remove the bonus blood points, and give the endurance status effect for its activation conditions, like unhooking a survivor safely, getting protection net, getting a save, activated it, and let you pick up a survivor with endurance status effect. So now the healing speed is 50% faster, so it's instead of 100, it's 150% now healing speed bonus. Basically, you have Botany on top base kit now. The endurance effect no longer needs to be activated, but there is a 30-second cooldown to it now. Effectively, this is just a straight-up buff on all fronts, because realistically, you were never getting 2 Willif pickups back-to-back where you had a stack and then got another stack. Like, that's so many layers of coincidences that required happen. Like, that wasn't happening. And now, it actually is pretty cool. An effective anti-slug perk that doesn't require an obscene amount of setup. Although I am sad that there is not a perk that encourages you go for saves anymore, not really, because previously WGLF kind of encouraged, hey, go rescue that survivor and do it safely, and also, hey, maybe go for a pound stun, maybe go for a flasher save. Like, that aspect of the perk is gone, which I feel is sad, because that's why I liked the way it came into 610 a little bit still, because it still encouraged doing something cool and something engaging for the other side and for your team, like old barbecue stacks did. Poised also got a minor update, or I say it's a medium update. When you first start repairing a generator, you will see the kills aura for 6 seconds. So, why I think it's a minor update is, in my interpretation, rewarding. So basically, you will essentially get Lethal Pursuer at best 7 times in the match, right? And this will not be unconditional, so you will have to be, for the first time, touching a generator. So in total, you will have, at best, 42 seconds forwarding. And now that's not nothing, but I could also just equip, God, what's his name? I actually forgot. Folkwise, from Vittoria, and you will just hit a great skill check and see the killer, and then hit a great skill check and see the killer, and hit a great skill check and see the killer. And then, why would you want to run Poised? Well, maybe for its other effect, where you hide scratch marks for now 14 seconds instead of 10 after the generator is completed. No, I still don't want to do that. Not really, because when I'm completing a generator, I'm either across the map or in front of the killer. And if I'm in front of the killer, what is the scratch mark change going to do? Nothing. And if I'm across the map, what is the scratch mark change going to do? Maybe if the killer goes to me and starts to chase me, but why would the killer want to start a chase in the area without a gen to patrol? This perk is just so bad. This isn't going to do anything to it. But I guess that's nice. But again, that's just encroaching on another perk. A major update got given to Blood Rush, where a perk that all killer mains said would break the game, and then didn't break the game even slightly. In fact, it broke my will to live when I tried to use it successfully. Blood Rush now activates 60 seconds after being unhooked. For 60 seconds, sorry. Previously, it activated permanently when you were 1 hook away from death, so on death hook. Blood Rush now deactivates if you perform a conspicuous action. Blood Rush now deactivates when it gets powered, and Blood Rush no longer heals or provides a broken status effect. So essentially, this is now an anti-tunnel perk, a new and actually kind of cute anti-tunnel perk. So what Blood Rush now will do is, for 60 seconds after being unhooked, you will be able to press your second reactive ability button, I believe, and you will lose your exhausted status effect. So if you have something like Sprint Burst, Life, or even Dead Hard, although Dead Hard you won't be able to use it twice because we've nerfed it to the ground, you will be able to remove your exhausted status effect and get at your exhaustion perk again in one single chase, providing you a lot more chase real estate in the, like, literally 2 hook states, and that's kind of crazy. So because your exhaustion status effect doesn't reset until you get hooked, you could hit a killer with life or sprint burst, run away for a while, hit them for record, get a DS on them afterwards, and then just as you are coming off a DS of hook, you press the Blood Rush, and then you sprint burst away from them again on top of stun time, which is kind of crazy. Will this be absolutely broken? No, I don't think so. I guess not, but this will definitely be a strong perk. Like, this is not going to be weak. This is going... Honestly, I think this is probably better than Decisive Strike. And it doesn't necessarily have a great synergy with Decisive Strike, because you're kind of giving up real estate in terms of distance if you are going down early to get DS and then also use Blood Rush afterwards, because it does only last for 60 seconds. Which is, when you're trying to stack anti-talent perks, your issue is you either try to go through all of them immediately so you get value, or you could just try and hold chase. Like, if you are bad at chase, yes, bows will be very useful, but if you're good at chase, you're not necessarily going to want to stack them because you're not going to get value of them in a row. If this perk was like 90 seconds, I could see being really stupid. But because it's only 60 seconds and it's going to kind of encroach in the territory of off the record and DS, it has a synergy, but they are kind of eating each other's space there. Really cool design. I like it. And speaking of cool designs, Quick Gambit. Quick Gambit, and I know Sneaky is going to be very happy about this, is now kind of good, low-key. Like, low-key, if you are a juicer, this is really good. So, when you're chased, you will now see auras of our survivors, just unconditionally, just auras of our survivors, no matter where we are. Quick Gambit will now enter a 60-second cooldown upon losing a health state, which is pretty large. But, while its repairs speed bonus also got nerfed to 5%, its repair speed bonus no longer has a limited range. So what you can do is take your killer away from your teammates and also speed them up. Which is kind of, I think, the idea of the perk was in the first place, but because its range was so bad, and even when it was buffed multiple times, it was still so bad, you kind of just had to run the killer into your teammates or try to edge them nearby your teammates. So it was a hassle. Now, it is a very much a skill check kind of perk, and not in a gameplay like mechanic term, like an actual skill check. If you can last in chase without getting hit, which against a lot of anti-loop killers, like getting that first hit can be very, very easy. It actually might be worth running. Like, that is a cute perk and it's interesting, and it will go on cooldown if you lose health state for a very notable duration of time. So I don't think that's very unfair to the killers. And besides, that's very definitely stronger perks than could Gambit to run. Speaking of perks that killer mains hate, and might not hate anymore, Distortion. So Distortion no longer has tokens now, and instead deactivates once used until you are chased. It now has a 12-second duration though, instead of the 10-second. So this kind of just is a decent rework to Distortion, which I did not expect from behavior. Basically, the most common complaint from Distortion was, hey, people are just using it to be rats, and they don't want to take chases. Which sucks, because then I don't have Distortion, I have to take chases because the kill constantly reveals me. And now, Distortion has a slightly longer duration, like a 25% longer duration. Wait, sorry, no. 20% longer duration. And that's not crazy, like at all. Well, let's be for real. But the fact that you now can recharge token, the token, just the perk, there's only one token, by going into chase is great. This directly rewards, hey, you want to go chase? Okay, now that you've been chased, you are now stealthier afterwards. And this actually might help you with perk we're gonna have coming up on the killer, but that's for later. The last rare perk we've got changed this mid-chapter is Lucky Star. So Lucky Star got a minor update, although I think it's more of a major one. Now, I never really saw what the fuck this perk was trying to do personally. I did a lot of things, it didn't do any of them really well, and it just kind of led you to questioning your life and existence. Now, it's a very straightforward perk, but I don't think it's a good perk at all. Like, I think it got nerfed, but I guess at least it has kind of a purpose, but also not really. So, Lucky Star, it now completely suppresses your grunts of pain and pools of blood as long as you are in the locker. Then that effect lingers for 30 seconds after exiting the locker, was 10 seconds after entering. But in the longest it reveals survivors or generators auras. So, from a weird rat/info mid-chase perk, this perk went to Diet Iron Will plus no mirror secondary effect. I don't like what this perk encourages you to do. At all. I would really love for it to do something completely different, because this is... I don't like it. It's bad, it encourages bad things, and it's just bad. Just run Iron Will and be happy with yourself. Killer perks got a bunch of changes to. So first up is genetic limits. Anytime survivor loses health state, they will now suffer from the exhaustion status effect for 8 seconds. Why? So the only perk this does anything to is Overcome, and then this perk is useless. Alright, next question. Leverage got a medium update. So now, when a survivor performs an unhook, their healing speed is reduced by 50% for 30 seconds. So, as we say, Leverage used to gain strength as the match went on. This made Leverage ineffective early on, often only becoming effective when the match was nearly won anyway. And also, side note by me, it was basically encouraging you to play a higher tier killer, because higher tier killers got hooks faster, which means it was useless on the killer, so it probably should be more powerful. So, you know, it just encouraged all the shit behavior possible from a killer, and it didn't really do anything for you as a killer. Now, leverage is completely different. When survivor performs no hook, their healing speed is reduced by 50% for 30 seconds. So it's negative bonding the knowledge on the given survivor, either after we unhook someone. What this basically does, as I say, is this discourages survivors from healing directly under the hook. Now, there are two sides to this coin. On one hand, you're basically denying something like a fast will make it botany reset. On the other hand, you are disencouraging survivors to heal on their hook, which is a lot of the times the worst decision they can make, and a decision on which you can capitalize really quickly. So I'm not sure if this perk's, depending on the survivors you get matched up with, this perk will either be a great help or could actually make your opponents play better. So I don't know. Like, I get the idea. I think the idea is fine, but just because of the way some survivors play, I question its effect. Thwack, still think that's the stupidest perk name we have, got a minor rework where it now starts with 3 tokens and will gain 1 token upon hooking a survivor. And its effect when you break a pallet or break a wall will still be the same. It costs all survivor average within 24 meters to scream and reveal their location for 5 seconds, but it will now just consume 1 token. It used to only activate after once per hook, and then it will often just get wasted because you'll get a hook again, and Thwack hasn't activated yet, blah, 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 you know. And it also starts with 3 tokens now, so you can be using it in your first chase, or even outside of a chase if you break a wall. So this will be kind of a very cute, you know, info perk. Plus, also, if you hate getting blinded at pallets, this perk will save you, because before the survivor can actually blind you at the end of your pallet break animation, you will make them scream. So that's good, or at least stop them from shooting blinding you. Machine learning got a minor buff for quality of life. The most recently damage generator becomes compromised. Machine learning previously required to damage 1 generator to activate, then another to compromise it. This made it awkward to use. To simplify this, the most recently damaged generator will always be compromised, and you can only have 1 generator be compromised at a time. I'm not gonna lie, somehow the fact that I needed to damage 1 generator and then another eluded me with this perk, and I never actually noticed it. And it's kind of stupid that they ever worked differently in the first place, so I'm glad this got changed. Next up is Deathbound. Deathbound no longer has a distance requirement to activate, and it no longer has a duration, and instead deactivates when the healer is hooked. Will this do anything and make Deathbound good? I'm trying to remember what Deathbound does. I guess it's okay. Now, kind of. Whatever. I'm not gonna lie. It's whatever. The thing I'm really interested in is Zanshin Tactics. Zanshin Tactics used to be the killer's windows of opportunity, but as a killer, windows of opportunity is not very useful because you are not leading the chase somewhere, you are chasing the survivor. The survivor is leading you somewhere to some zone with pallets and loops, and you couldn't really do anything with Zanshin. However, Zanshin is now going to be completely different. So, its new effect is whenever a survivor is within 6 meters of a dropped pallet, within 60 meters of your location, so that's 2 conditions there, their aura is revealed for 10 seconds. Basically what this does is, on a lot of tiles, you have a little bit of height, right, and then playing around them can be difficult because you don't always know what survivor is doing. What this basically does is it gives you wall hacks if you're trying to play around the drop pallet, which is often the wrong play, and you often want to kick a pallet, and if the pallet is so weak that it's easy to play around, this isn't going to do much. What this perk basically tells you, hey, you have a crazy Ozdara weekly compilation mind game? Here's the aura of a survivor. Fucking go for it, champ. Which I love. This will be actually just a really cool perk. And I'm sure in some specific situations you could set up so you go to Gideon, then you never kick any pallets, and then you can have within 60 minutes of you permanent wall fuck you, I don't care. This actually seems to encourage cool gameplay, and I'm all for it. Deadman Switch. The problematicest of problematic children on Killer. It's gotten, they say, a minor update, but it seems like a major one to me. It now applies only to the first survivors who stops repairing a generator. Now, there are a lot of typos in this developer update, but hey, I didn't write it. So, I'm confused on what this means. Will this mean the generator doesn't get blocked? Survivors get incapacitated from... I don't know. Does the gen get blocked only for them? Do they get incapacitated? Can they not just touch themselves? I don't know what this means. So I'm very confused. Because they should elaborate further for you. And its duration is now 50 seconds instead of 45. Not a significant change, really. And basically got brought up to what it was before. I guess this will make it less frustrating for you as a player if your teammate leaves and Deadman switches you, so now it's not gonna happen as far as I can understand. Okay, whatever. Deadman switch is still gonna be awesome problematic in my opinion. Blood Echo. Blood Echo no longer has a cooldown, and its duration is now 30 seconds. It's reduced from its previous 60-second duration. Blood Echo had a long cooldown before, and that felt really painful because you already had to hook a survivor, and then also survivors had to be injured, and whatever. This perk now will activate more frequently, but its duration is now reduced slightly. This will make the perk probably okay, especially on someone like Plague or Legion. Speaking of perks that might be okay now, to say the least, is Hex Crowd Control. It's now going to rework where instead of blocking vaults for a few seconds, it will now block the last 5 vaults which survivors rush vaulted until the Hex Totems cleanse. I don't know about this one, Chief. This seems a little too wild for me. This seems a little too wild. The last 5 vaults on any survivor. This is a crazy chase perk. You basically shut down 3 or 5 tiles until you cleanse the hex. Too much. Too much. Too much. The much is too much. No. I see the idea here, Chief. But I don't see this execution being healthy. Not subscribing to this one. Predator, see what update? Did I suspect update? I don't know. Pick one. Predator used to be either beloved or hated, and by some people, slightly low sometimes, lukewarm. What basically it did is it made the stretch marks tighter. It grouped them up more, and sometimes it made tracking easier, sometimes it made survivors finding them harder because it's all in the grass. It is now a completely different perk. When a survivor escapes a chase, you reveal their aura for 6 seconds. Then it goes on cooldown for 40 seconds. Holy shit, what a perk! But this basically is, hey, I know you're bad at tracking people, so here, you have a reasonable tool for tracking people that doesn't rely on stretch marks, and it just gives you, hey, you should go there, because that's the survivor there. And it's 6 seconds, it's not the craziest of durations, it's after the survivor escapes, which means you actually properly lost them, not confused for a second, and then it has a noticeable cooldown. That's good. I like this rework. This rework will be very helpful for any people who constantly lose survivors. Moving on, killer updates. We're gonna have to start with Skull Merchant. I'm not gonna really bother with this update. For Skull Merchant just got turbo nerfed, and she is still going to be absolutely awful to play against. And it's yeah, that's my opinion on this combination. Rework, it does nothing, and it's not interesting, and it's boring, and you suck. Watch my rework video instead. The Hillbilly, has gotten a minor update where they basically decreased a bunch of stats related to overdrive. So overdrive is now 11.5 meters per second instead of 13 meters per second when you're moving. Overdrive dissipates after 8 seconds instead of 15. It's still not going to matter because I can just press the power button for half a millisecond. Overdrive change I just gained while revving and sprinting is now 1/2 second per second instead of 2 per second. And the chainsaw missed attack cooldown is now 2.7 seconds instead of 2.5. Will this do anything to the Hillbilly? No. Will this make Hillbilly bearable to verse? No. This changes nothing and does nothing because overdrive will still be gained for free and easily and will not dissipate at all. Let's be for real. And who cares? And the missed attack cooldown, I guess it's nice, but it's still not gonna do much. Twins got a minor update. Victor's cooldown when he's crushed is now 20 seconds instead of 15, which means crushing Victor is actually not completely useless anymore, but still kind of useless. And the cooldown after Victor down to Survivor is 3.2 seconds. As developers say, following their update earlier this year, the Twins saw a sharp increase in lethality. If you want to check, we have slightly increased how long it takes to Victor to recover after downing Survivor. Also slightly increased how long it takes for Victor to become available after being crushed by a Survivor to make it more impactful on Survivor mages to pull it off. Will this do anything? No. Will this make Twins likable? No. Will this make Twins mains likable? Also no. Who cares? The last killer update and the last update, this developer update, is the unknown. There is now a HUD update to display teleport cooldown and hallucination spawn time, which technically kind of already was, but not quite. Movement speed is now decreased sooner when you're charging your power. The teleport recovery speed is now increased by 15%. They adjust the blurry photo and vanish box items, which are corresponding to their previous changes, and they improve visual and audio feedback when using the UPX for power. They say that Unknown is in a great spot and is well liked by players. I don't agree, and all they've done really is slightly nerf him and buff him all around at the rest of things and buff his base kit. Will this make Unknown bearable to play against? No, not really. Will this make it far easier to micromanage your hallucinations and teleports? Kind of a neutral because you now have a direct HUD update even if you don't completely know his mechanics, but your movement speed will not decrease sooner when you're charging your power, so you won't be able to your tentacle out just to edge of a teleport progress spawn immediately. So I guess this is a known change and I don't much care for it. Overall, the finishing Mori is a surprisingly alright addition. The Survivor perk updates are pretty much either all good or non-offensive. The killer perk updates were a few that I really questioned, but overall also pretty good. Killer updates are pretty much all a miss, like either a complete non-factor or garbage. So I don't know. My expectations for the slow motion rework were low, and then behavior decided instead of delivering on anything, they delivered on nothing, and they delivered somehow even less than nothing afterwards. So, you know, killer rework section is completely garbage, but hey, the perk changes are all right. Like, the mindset definitely is different on these, I feel. And a lot of the perk reworks, like reworks, in this are with more fun and better gameplay in mind. Like if you go after Blood Rush, if you go after Quick Gambit, if you go after Distortion, ignore Lucky Star, these are, hey, you want to do something cool. Even Leverage, although I have some problems with it. Even Thwack. Machine Learning is just a nice change. Zanshin Tactics is a really cool change. Deadman Switch, I don't know yet. You know, Predator is a really cool change. I like the philosophy behind all of those. I still question a lot of this, but I can see some philosophy, like a glimmer of good philosophy in perk design, just shining past, which I like. Overall, one of the better developer updates we've seen in a while. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you to whoever will be editing this for me, because I don't have the capacity to edit this phone video for myself. And hopefully I will see you in the next video on my PDB deep dive, actually with functioning computer. Thank you for watching, peeps, and bye-bye!